So we come to kindness, the next of Paul's list of the fruit of the Spirit. I'm sure you've probably heard of the little girl who prayed at night, "Dear God, please make all the bad people good and make all the good people nice." Because kindness and goodness need to go together. There is a kind of goodness that can be so cold and clinical and upright that really it's not very nice. And so Paul puts kindness and goodness together in this way. But we're going to think first of all about kindness. I think the essence of kindness is thoughtfulness for other people above yourself. It means the desire to encourage and help other people, to meet their needs, to give them encouragement, sometimes even when it's inconvenient to yourself, or indeed possibly costly. They sometimes say that kindness costs nothing, but sometimes it can cost a lot. But it's a desire to think, well, what would I want somebody to do for me if I were in that situation, and then to do it as an act or a word or an attitude of kindness. Let's think first of all about kindness as part of the character of God. In the Old Testament there's a wonderful word that the Israelites used to use a lot about God. In Hebrew it's the word chesed, and it's translated in many different ways, sometimes as love or as faithfulness or loyalty or mercy. In older translations as loving kindness, a beautiful old English word, and more recently often simply as kindness. And so often the Israelites would sing and celebrate this. Perhaps the most famous is the ending of the 23rd Psalm, "Surely goodness and mercy," that's the word, kindness, "shall follow me all the days of my life." So when the Apostle Paul was wanting to tell a group of people who had never heard about the one true living God in the town of Lystra, he picked up on this idea of the kindness of God. In Acts chapter 14, he told them, "God has shown you kindness by giving you rain from heaven and crops in their seasons. He provides you with plenty of food and fills your hearts with joy." So if that's what God is like, then those who know God and belong to Him are called to show that same kind of kindness to others. And so we move on secondly to kindness and the example of Jesus. Because if kindness means caring for others above yourself, then surely Jesus was kindness incarnate. He was kindness on two legs. I've got a friend who says that he wants to write a life of Jesus that he's going to call a theology of interruptions, because he points out that so often many of the things that Jesus says and does, which are recorded in the Gospels, happened because somebody interrupted him when he was going about the place. But Jesus did not resent that or resist that. He responded to those people with kindness. So you think of the woman who came and touched him when Jesus was on his way to heal the daughter of Jairus, or the woman who came and anointed his feet when he was at a supper party, or the woman of Samaria, or blind Bartimaeus, or the parents who brought children to Jesus. Again and again Jesus shows kindness to people who others regarded as somewhat interloping and interrupting Jesus. And even on the cross, Jesus was thinking of his mother, even above his own pain and suffering. So if that's what Jesus was like in his kindness, I have to ask myself, why do I so often fail to be kind, to show kindness to others? And partly it is because I don't want to be interrupted, because I'm so busy, because I've got things to do and appointments to keep. And so to be delayed or interrupted by stopping to speak or talk or just show kindness in action to people is a bit uncomfortable. Or perhaps sometimes it's because I'm just being self-protective. I certainly find when I'm traveling a lot that you go into what my wife sometimes calls flight mode, where you say, I got to get places, I got to do what I got to do, and don't anybody get in my way or cross me. And in those kind of moments I need to remind myself, if this were Jesus, what would he do? How would he respond to people around him in need? So kindness then, and the character of Jesus, and whether that is being formed in us. And so that leads us then thirdly to kindness as a habit of life. We do need to remember that what we're talking about here is the fruit of the Spirit. This kind of kindness is not something that just comes naturally, even though of course some people are more naturally kind than others. But Paul is talking about a kind of quality of life which comes from Jesus living within us and bearing that fruit of kindness within us. So kindness is a fruit that has to be cultivated until it becomes a habit and part of our character, in which it becomes almost more natural to do what is kind than not to, or at least where it becomes very uncomfortable to do what is unkind, or to fail to do what could be a kind word or action to others. And so I wonder if, as we go out into each day, to our travel, to our work, in our homes, wherever it may be that we are, should we just stop and pray and ask God, God, help me to find those opportunities in this day's life and work where I can show kindness to others? Is there someone that I can thank, whether in a shop or cleaning the streets? Is there someone I can appreciate and make their life just a little bit more bearable? Where can I give a smile or a word of appreciation and commendation and praise? How can I help someone in need or in poverty, where I can actually give something of myself to their needs? How can I show kindness in action? That's something of the fruit of the Spirit. The final thought here is that such Christ-like kindness is a very strong witness, because it is deeply attractive. Dame Anita Roddick, who founded the Body Shop, said this. She said, "The end result of kindness is that it draws people to you." Well, for us, thinking about kindness as the fruit of the Spirit, perhaps we might want to say that the end result of kindness is that it draws people to Jesus.